Okay, hi everyone. Okay, this video series will be on declarer play, and I'll start off with suit combinations. There are many contents under this topic, so we will first start with the simplest type of suit combinations as an introduction. Okay, firstly, what is suit combination? Basically, it's referring to the cards in one particular suit. For example, diamonds, the cards in our dummy and our hand. So for example, Ace Queen X facing XX. This is considered one suit combination. If the length changes, it's a different suit combination, and if the high cards change, it's a different suit combination. So basically, suit combinations like Ace Queen X facing XX, these are very common. You can think of many like Ace King X facing 4 cards, Ace King X facing 3 cards, Ace King Queen 5 card facing 3 card, and so on. So the point is, why must we learn these general combinations? It's because there are some very common suit combinations that we will see all the time when playing bridge, and these combinations have optimal plays that are already known. So we need to learn the optimal plays so that we can execute them during a real hand. So for this particular video, I'm going to concentrate on how do we count tricks, because I noticed that many of us have difficulty counting tricks. Not counting itself, but how to plan the exact number of tricks and the number of tricks we can get during certain situations if the opponents take a different line of play. So okay, basically declarer has to count winning and losing tricks during trick 1 itself, so as to plan the best line of play, and we need to know our expected winners and losers in order to do that. So the most important factors are suit length, promotion of cards, as well as position and finesse. So this will be the content for this lesson. Alright, firstly, suit length. Let's take some time to consider the two questions here. If we ignore high cards, what is the main difference between a 5-2 feet and 5-3 feet regarding our tricks? Right? What's the difference when it comes to the tricks that we can take? And next, what's the difference to the declarer when declarer has a 6-2 versus a 5-3 feet? Right? So for these questions, right, we can imagine that we have Ace King Queen in the long suit, but actually it doesn't matter. It could be any combination of high cards, whether there's no high cards or just an ace, or there's Ace King Queen. There are certain minor differences that affect the number of tricks that you can expect. So let's try to think about. Let's pause the video and try to think about these two questions first. Right. So after you've thought of it, okay, let's look at some examples. Okay, these examples illustrate the previous two questions. If we look at 1 and 2, the long suit is the same, right? Ace King Queen 5 carder, but one is a 5-3 feet, one is a 5-2 feet. So imagine we are playing 3-note trump, and this is the, let's say, a minor suit. Both can offer us a maximum of 5 tricks, but during our planning, we need to know how many tricks we can expect. So regarding this, we need to have some knowledge of probability, right? So obviously, option 1, the example 1, it has a higher chance because there's only 5 cards outstanding. So actually there's a 68% chance that there is a 3-2 break in the defender's hands, and we can take all 5 tricks. So during our planning, we can first assume that there will be 5 tricks, and if it's a 4-1 break, then we still have 4 tricks, right? But when we do the planning for the second case, We are unsure of the defender's layout, but the most likely layout is actually 4-2, right? That's about 50%, and the best case for us is 3-3, right? So that's actually around 35%. So we, if we need all 5 tricks, it is not likely, right? It's not likely for the suit to break 3-3. So if in our contract we need extra tricks, we may have to have a backup plan. We cannot assume that this is 5 tricks for the second case. But if there is no other chance, then we hope that it will be 5 tricks, right? Okay, what about we have 8 card feed, but the type of 8 card feed is different. Okay, this is more obvious, so I'll just talk about it briefly. For example 3 and 4, we have ace king queen in our long suit, right? We have ace king queen in our long suit. Assuming that the suit breaks the same way, either it's 3-2 for both or 4-1 for both, the case 3 always has one extra trick, right? If it's a good break, we have 6 tricks for case 3 and 5 tricks in case 4, right? Assuming it's 3 no trump and this is a minor suit, right? So from this, this is a pretty simple example to show that many times our expected winners come from our longer suit when we are declarer. Okay, so suit length and our length tricks, the expectation really depends on the probability of the suit distribution. So this slide has some very important and very common odds that I need you guys to memorize, and these will be tested. So take a brief look. I'll run through them and how to remember them. So okay, 7 card feed, maybe it's 4-3 feed, 5-2 feed. So the good break, 3-3 break, is about 35%. The normal break is 4-2, that's 49%, but I will remember it as 50% because it's easier to remember that way. And if your contract relies on a 4-2 or better break, then we will combine these odds and remember it as about 85%, very high chance. We will assume that it will work if we only need a 4-2 break for our contract to succeed. Okay, moving on, 8 card feed, which is very important because for trump suits we always have an 8 card feed, right? The good break is about 68%, and the 4-1 break is quite common also, it's 28%. And if we only need our contract to depend on a 4-1 or better break, that's about 96%. That's virtually certain, so it's a very good contract. 9 card feed, it's pretty easy. 2-2 is 40% and 1-3 is 50%. The knowledge of the odds for 9 card feed is not that important, but still pretty common, so please memorize these as well. But most importantly, memorize the odds for 7 card feed and 8 card feed, right? Alright, the next concept should be fairly easy to grasp. Promotion of high cards in a suit. So basically, we are counting the tricks that we expect that we can win by playing our high cards. So for each combination, we will just assume that we are going to play the high cards one by one, starting from the top card, and we lose to the outstanding high cards from our defenders whenever possible, because our defenders have an incentive to win whenever they can. So we should assume that they will win it instead of assuming that they will let us win, right? So let's use this example. Ace, Queen, Jack, 9. If we play the high card from the top, we play the Ace, followed by the Queen. This will lose to the King, right? So the Jack is then promoted to the highest card. If we play a Jack, it will get a trick, and then the 9 will lose to the 10. So when we are planning winners from this suit, we can only assume 2 sure winners, right? For now, we are still ignoring position and length because this is only one hand. If the dummy has 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, that's a big fit, and most likely we will get more tricks. But we're ignoring the length, we're ignoring the position, right? For now, we're only looking at the high cards and how many tricks we can get for sure. So some examples. The first example is pretty easy. King XX facing Queen Small. That's one sure trick. If we promote it, we play either King or Queen, which will lose to the Ace, and the remaining high card is one trick, right? Okay, what about the second case? Can you see how many tricks we can definitely get? Alright, for the second case is actually just one trick, because your opponents will only play their Ace and King to cover one of your high cards. So if you play Queen or 10, they will take with the Ace and King or King, and you will only be left with 2 touching cards, and one of them will lose to the other card that the defenders have. So if you play Queen, if you play 10 followed by Queen followed by Jack, 2 of these rounds will be taken by the opponents. So you will actually only promote one trick. So don't be confused. Just because you have Queen and Jack doesn't mean it's 2 tricks. Just like case 1, you have King and Queen. It is not 2 tricks. It is only one trick, right? It is only one trick, right? Because your opponents have no incentive to play their Ace when there is no reason to play it. They will only play their Ace to capture your King or Queen, right? So for case 3, so we are going to play Ace followed by Queen, Jack, 10. 4 rounds, right? We are going to play 4 rounds of this suit, and one of them will be taken by the King. So this suit is good for 3 winners, right? So it doesn't matter when the King is taken. Even if you play Jack, it is covered by the King. You play Ace, that's the first round. You only can play another 2 rounds, Queen and 10. You will still lose to 9, right? So I hope you are more familiar with the promotion principle. It also works during defense. Okay, let's look at the fourth example. King, Jack, 10, 9, 8, 5 cards. This is pretty simple. We're going to play 5 rounds of the suit, losing to only Ace and Queen. So this combination is good for 3 tricks. So when we plan, we assume at least 3 tricks, right? So there are many cases where we need to use both the length and promotion in our expectation of tricks. So basically we just combine them. Some tricks are promoted high cards and some tricks are due to length. So the first example, King, Queen, 5 cards facing 3 small cards. Your King, Queen is only one confirmed trick, because when we play King or Queen, it will be captured by the Ace, and the remaining one will be the top card. So that is one trick. But considering the possible suit breaks, if it's a good break, 3-2 break, that's about 68%, then our 4th and 5th card will be winners, right? So we play the king, we lose to ace. We play the queen, we play the 3 to the 8. It will lose to jack or 10, and subsequently our 5 and 4 are winners. So this suit is actually good for 3 tricks, assuming a good break. Okay, if it's a 4-1 break, you can just adjust the expectation. If it's a 4-1 break, we will lose the third and the fourth round also. So we lose to the ace, then we lose to the third and the fourth round. We win the fifth round. So that will be 2 tricks if it's a 4-1 break, right? So you see this thought process. We are thinking of the promotion, and we are also thinking of the possible opponent suit distributions, right? So okay, for the next example, ace jack small facing queen 4 cards, right? Queen to 4 cards. By promotion principle, we'll play ace queen jack or ace jack queen, whatever. We will lose to the king, and this suit will have 2 sure tricks. But this is a 7 card feat, and our long suit is 4 cards. There is a chance that there is a length trick, which is the 4th card will be promoted if it's a good break. The good break in this case is only if it's 3-3, right? That's about roughly 35%, right? It's roughly 35%, and so if it's 4-2 break, there will be no length trick. There will only be a promoted trick. And take this time to think about the opponent's point of view. If someone is holding the 4 card suit, 4 cards and 2 cards, right? 4-2 break. If someone is holding the 4 card suit, what's one way that they could misdefend? One very common error is when they discard something from the 4 card suit to make the break 3-2 and let you get away with this trick. So we're not going to cover that today, but think about it. Think about how a bad break could be overcome due to opponent's mistakes, and how we need to prevent these mistakes on our side, since we have talked about suit distribution today. Okay, so there are some situations when a promotion play would not work. Promotion only works when we use an honor to lose a trick in order to promote another honor. But sometimes we do not have such a holding where we have multiple honors. Maybe we only have one honor which we need to use it to win a trick. So for certain holdings, the finesse play will be in use. The most classic case is ace queen. We cannot promote the queen because if we lose to the king, we have no honor left to gain a trick. So we need to hope that the king is sitting before the queen. And the only way to play for a trick is to play low towards the queen, right? So that the king cannot capture it if it is sitting in the second hand. Okay, so the examples here, like I said, small towards ace queen. Okay, the second example is we have king and only king, and we need to get one trick. So similarly, there's a finesse play. We will play low towards the king, so that if ace is on the left hand side, it cannot capture our king, and therefore our king will be promoted and we can gain one trick. Okay, here are some examples of finesse positions. Okay, for case 1, if we only go by the promotion principle, we have queen jack, which is worth one trick because after we lose to the king, we still have one more honor. But we gain additional chance of getting another trick if we were to use the finesse play. So how it's applied here, it's pretty simple. Small to jack, then use your entry to come back to hand, and then small to queen. So there's a 50% chance of the king being on the left hand side. We call this being onside. So there's a 50% chance of the king being onside, and we can get all 3 tricks. Okay, for case 2, the honor that we are trying to promote, we're trying to finesse, is the queen, right? So we need to bypass the king. So here, for this case, we need to play low towards the queen and hope that king is sitting before the queen. So the play for case 2 would be to play the ace, then play the 3 towards the queen, hoping that the king is sitting before the queen so that we can get a total of 2 tricks. This is the only way to get a second trick, because there's no honor to promote the queen with. We can only use the finesse play. Okay, let's look at case 3. This holding provides one sure winner because the king queen can be promoted. But if we were to finesse, again we have a 50% chance of getting one additional trick because we can play low towards king and low towards queen. If the ace is onside, we can get both tricks. If it's offside, there's nothing we can do. We can only get one trick. Okay, case 4 is here to show you an example of a holding that cannot finesse, because the king and the queen are in separate hands. One is in the dummy, one is in declarer. So even though we are using the exact same cards as case 3, but case 4 cannot finesse. Even if we were to play small towards king or queen and then small towards the other queen or king, regardless of which side the ace is on, it will capture the honor that is sitting before it. Right? So if it's on our left, it will capture the queen. If it's on the right, it will capture the king. So case 4, there is no finesse. Right? Case 1, 2, and 3 are finesse positions that you need to familiarize with. So this is the last slide for this video. These examples include all 3 components of planning. We need to think about the length, think about promoting our high cuts, as well as any possible finesse plays. So before I tell you the answer, please pause the video and think about these 2 examples. Okay, let's discuss the examples. For example 1, firstly, it is a 5-3 fit, which means that if it's a good break, the 4th and 5th card will be winners, right? The 4th and 5th card will be winners. Okay, let's talk about promotion. Queen Jack 10. If we were to play 3 rounds, we are gonna lose to ace and king and win the 3rd round. But just playing Queen Jack 10 is not the optimal play, because then we would require a good break before we can win the 4th round. But we can incorporate the finesse play. We can play low towards queen, low towards jack, low towards 10, and so on. And what this helps to do is, if the ace and king they are onside, ace or king is onside, if they play ace or king, we will not play our high honor, we will play a low card, so that our 4th round is still a high honor. In this way, even if the break is 4-1, we can still win the 4th round and the 5th round. So the finesse play actually helps us to save our honor during the case where the defender plays ace or king in the 2nd hand. Okay, let's look at case 2. Case 2, looking at the high cards, the only thing we can do is to finesse, right? Play low to queen. But when we are planning the winners, right, we need to keep in mind that this layout may produce a length winner, a length trick. So ideally, we can get up to 3 tricks. We can play low to queen. If it is onside, we can play ace and then the 3rd round low to low. If the suit breaks 3-3, we can win the fourth trick because the lowest card will be promoted. The 6 will be promoted. Okay, today we've covered quite a lot of content, even though they are quite simple, but they provide the fundamentals of how to plan during your declare play and how to think about your winners and what are the probabilities of there being certain number of winners in each suit. Regarding the last slide, where we need to use all three components to plan, if you are up to the challenge, you can go back to this video's 15-minute point and look at the two examples on that slide again and think of how to use position to your advantage. Okay, let's just go to the slide. Yeah, this slide. We previously talked about how to plan winners using length and trick promotion, but if we were to think about using position and finesse play, actually both of these hands we can actually apply the finesse play as well. So think about how. Yep, that's all. Thanks.